how to know if you are being manipulated.
You can attach meaning to your life, but that meaning is yours and yours alone. It's not objective. It's not an absolute.
How to actually spot a manipulation in a relationship with someone else. First of all, you have this sense of guilt and shame that you can't describe, you can't put into words, that you're just not quite sure where it's coming from. You're just feeling this unease when you're with that person. On the surface, everything seems fine, right? Everything seems okay. But then just hanging out with them, it just feels like there's something off with that person. Or there's something off with what we're doing. The clear sign of a manipulation, you will feel it internally as a flash of intuition. An intuition that's telling you, this person, I'm just not quite sure right now, right? I just don't fucking know. On the surface, it might seem perfect, but on the inside, you don't feel right. And when you look at them, there's just, even if it's 1% of Machiavelli's personality in them, maybe it's just that little smirk at the end of their sentence. Maybe it's just this backhanded remark, not really attacking you, but they're like indirectly influencing your way of thinking to join their side. Also, if you feel worse about yourself after, you feel a sense of insecurity, inferiority, you feel that there's just something wrong there. Or whenever you see them, you just feel just a little frustrated. You don't know why. You're frustrated about them. You're frustrated about what they're doing. You're frustrated about what they're not doing. You're frustrated about what they're saying. You're frustrated about what they're not saying. A lot of manipulation can be very passive, just as much as active. And to spot it, you have to pay attention to those words that are said and not said, in the silence that's left out. And in the silence, in the void, you can find the truth, as I always say in all my fucking videos. In the silence, you can tell, okay, this person is well-intentioned or not. You can sense that they want something out of you that they don't have yet. They want something, whether it's money, it's your talent, it's your skills, it's your expertise, a certain status. They want something out of you that they don't have yet. They'll escape the question, for example. If you're asking them a question about something, they'll quickly avoid it and ask you a question. Hey, so you're supposed to pay me last week. I see you haven't paid me. Like, what's happening, dude? And then they ask you a question back. Well, you know, I've looked at what you've done, and how about you? Like, why didn't you do a good job? Why do I have to pay you if you did a bad job? Whatever. They're avoiding your question. Why didn't you do the dishes? Well, why didn't you do the dishes? Why did I have to do it? Why don't you fucking do it? Even when you're being manipulated, often you are a victim of that manipulation, but then they'll point it back to them. You tell them, hey dude, like I really gotta finish that project, but like you really have to cooperate with me right now. Like, you know, you told me we're gonna do this and we really have to do this because I have this deadline to finish. I only have a few days and we really have to fucking do this. And then they tell you, well, dude, man, why do you put so much pressure on me? Why do you put so much pressure on me for all the things I've done for you? Dude, my grandmother just passed away. That's what happened to me, actually. I had a very strict deadline and my friend just gave me he just gave me a rebuttal. Like, it's completely illogical. He's just like shoving emotions in my face, like of how he's feeling, how he's the victim. He was shoving emotions in my face. You might think like, oh, well, you're insensitive in some ways. Why wouldn't you care for your friend? And whatever. Well, that's exactly where the manipulation happens. Sometimes those cards are legitimate. Sometimes those cards make sense. But a lot of times they don't. A lot of times it's just because they want to get more power. I've noticed that a lot of girls do that, you know, when they want to gain power over a relationship, because men, they can just, you know, brute force their way into power. You know, the most subtle forms of getting that power back is shifting that victim dynamic. Reversal of roles. A very common thing that happens as well is they will shift the victim dynamic. They'll make you believe that they are the victim. They'll tell the other person, well, for all the things I've done for you, like, I'm feeling so down because of what you've been doing. I thought we were friends, right? Even though the friendship is going fine until they bring that up, right? Maybe they'll put an ultimatum to reinforce their victimhood, like, well, I don't want to be friends with you anymore if that's going to be like this. And I remember this happened to me when I was in the middle of my project. I was 3/4 of the way through. And obviously I can't replace an actor if I'm trying to shoot a film. I can't replace it with another guy. I have to finish that film, right? Like, he just threatened, like, hey, we're not gonna be friends anymore, and we already put like hundreds of hours into this project, and we're gonna fucking drop it, right? Other forms could be a direct personal attack. For example, they may tell you, well, you're being so egotistical, you're being so selfish. Why don't you care about me? Remember that time that you did this? Well, that's fucking stupid of you. Very direct, very obvious. But the more insidious forms are the passive-aggressive forms. The seemingly most nicest people you'll ever meet will be more likely to be passive-aggressive. Because people that are too nice, they're just afraid of confrontation. So they'll do anything in their power to avoid this confrontation. They'll, for example, give you a compliment. There'll be a little intention of trying to insult you in a backhanded way. For example, hey dude, very nice thing that you did right there, but there's this that was wrong about it. This thing, I'm not sure, dude, you can keep doing that. Like, I think it's better you do something else with your life. I don't think this is gonna work for you. Dude, I'm just giving you constructive criticism. But they're telling you something very obviously attacking, but they're just saying it as constructive criticism. And when they're telling you this constructive criticism card, look at the actual criticism. Is it more of a personal attack, or are they actually giving you the tools to better yourself? If they're not giving you the tools to better yourself and they're just pointing the finger, then that's not constructive criticism. That's a personal attack. That is a passive-aggressive attack on you. Because they want to take power over you. They want to take power over the friendship. They want to take power over the relationship. So then they'll do whatever they can to shift that dynamic. So then you can comply to their ideal of what is the ideal friendship or the ideal relationship. For example, I had this friend. It's the same friend, by the way. And thank God I'm not friends with them anymore. I would do something. I would express something about the friendship we had, because we had like some troubles in there. And the weirdest thing ever, he considered me his best friend. So I was his best friend in his eyes. But to me, he was a close friend until I started maturing and realizing that there was obviously this friendship was not gonna work, and I would just open up a little bit about myself. And then he would say, dude, that's feminine. No, don't do that. That's feminine card. He said it like all the time. You know, I'm a very artistic person. So anything that was a little too expressive, a little too creative, a little too emotional, he would be like, dude, that's feminine. Fuck that. Or when I tried to talk about the friendship itself, and I'm like, when he was mad at something, he would always talk on social media. He would never talk face to face. That's another passive-aggressive tactic of not wanting to talk in person, so they'll be passively aggressive to you through messages. Another passive-aggressive technique would be, if you ever point out to them whatever they're doing that you don't like, they'll say things like, dude, why are you so mad? I was just helping you out. Dude, don't be so reactive. This type of a rebuttal back, blaming you again, right? Reversal of blame, that you are the one to blame. Another way that passive-aggressive people will be passive-aggressive is, you know, they have a hard time saying yes or no, so then they'll say, sure, whatever. Or they say yes, and then later down the path, they'll just sabotage the whatever you were trying to do. They won't actually mean yes, but they'll say yes because they're afraid to lose you, so then they'll be passive-aggressive about it. Another thing they can do is intentional mistakes. They'll like intentionally arrive late. They'll intentionally not respond to you. They'll intentionally not do something. And then they'll blame you, saying, well, I've done my part. Well, this wasn't my fault. Oh, sorry, I had to catch the bus. It was late. So what to do when you spot a manipulation? After all this, it might seem a little overwhelming. Well, everyone's manipulating me then? I don't want you to freak out. Most of the time, it's probably not manipulation. They're doing it unintentionally. Whenever you spot that, be empathetic of it. Because the reason they're doing it is because they were hurt before. Someone did that to them before. So they're doing it to you. So from this empathy standpoint, first step is I want you to recognize the manipulation. You just want to end it as soon as you can, right? Just walk away from it. Remove yourself from that. Do not get entangled in those games, in those dynamics, because those dynamics will just fuel you downward, will be very emotionally taxing, will be very soul-sucking. And our time is so limited, and you do not want to get entangled in this. Even if you're getting some little reward in it, most of the time, it's not good to manipulate. Just call them out on it, in person. Tell them, hey dude, I don't like what you're doing here. I think this is wrong. I don't like this dynamic right here. I don't like when you did this thing. I felt really hurt. I felt really confused. Focus on yourself, how you felt, and their actions. But don't focus on them as a person. Focus on what they did and what you did in return and how you felt. And this focus will then bring more awareness to the dynamic. And then what will tend to happen is that they will see the dynamic in place and they'll either completely avoid it, do a rebuttal on you and tell you, oh, well, it's your fault. Then obviously they want to keep this manipulation going. If this happens, just fucking leave. Just fucking leave. This friendship is not meant to last. It's going to be destructive. So if this happens, leave. This friendship over. Hopefully, if it's a good friend of yours, what happens is they'll apologize, like, oh, sorry dude, like yeah, I was kind of pissed off at you and then I did this. But if they apologize and they genuinely apologize and you can tell it's genuine, then you're on a good path. And then there will be that 1% of the time where there will be no other choice, there will be no way out, right? And they want to keep the manipulation going and you're stuck in it, because whether it's a client and you need food on your plate, stuck in this downward spiral and there's no other way out. Like if you just run away from it, they'll catch you back. If you're stuck with that person, maybe a co-worker, you're doing your project and you have a strict deadline and you have to finish that project no matter what, and you are stuck with them. Then there's that 1% of the time where you are allowed to manipulate. And I'll teach you that in the next video. But for now, I just want you to know that 99% of the time, you just want to solve it, end it, and leave. Leave. This will be a lot more healthy for you. Don't stay stuck in that game. It'll fucking destroy you. So thank you guys for watching. There's definitely a lot more to say about that. And that was just like a preview of it. But if you like this video, let me know in the comments below, because I read every single comment and I reply to every single comment. And the best suggestions, I'll probably make a video about it. And what I want to do is I think I'll do a little mini series on how to deal with manipulation, how to shift the power game so it's more in your favor and stuff like that. Not in a Machiavellian way, but in a way just to defend yourself with the intention of resolving this issue, the intention of surviving, of defending yourself. Sometimes you don't have a choice. Sometimes if you don't learn to fight back, you'll be stomped on repeatedly, because if you're not willing to take power over yourself and over the dynamic, you just get used over and over and over again, right? Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.